Savannah is going to bring us into support, customer support. Well, first we'll take a look at G Suite development as an example of how to get your business more publicly facing of, hey, I'm Taryn at the Collab Team instead of the Collab Team at Gmail. Pretty fun differentiations on just the next step you can take with your business, the low costs to do these kind of things, and how you can make it work for your business. And then after that, she'll jump into support. So how do you handle your support, your incoming emails from people? How do you migrate that in an organized way that makes sense? And then how do you take that into the next level of maybe you want to work inside of an app like a Zendesk. Maybe you want to start chat. Maybe you want to create a resource site for FAQs so people can start finding answers for themselves. Relieves your team. So it's going to be a pretty fun conversation with Savannah here. She set up some good support sites, the FAQ wizard of macros and shortcuts, and relieving the stress of the CE team for Pedro Adeo as of late, but other experience with other companies there. So Savannah, do you want to kick us off with what you got to start with?
Sure. So two things that I'm just going to start with to give myself some grace. I do have a 2-month-old right next to me. So if she hollers or needs attention, just she's here. And then the second part of that is we are going to be starting out with some really basic stuff today. So some of you might feel like this is a little bit underneath where you're at. Just know that we are going to be building on this. So this is kind of like stage 1, and then, we'll be getting into crazier levels of automation and features and stuff later on. So where we're going to start out with is just simply talking about the importance of having a hosted email address. So this is really like square one when you're starting with your support. So a lot of people will start out just, with a Gmail or a Hotmail or whatever. And that's fine for when you're, you got to start somewhere. But as you start building a team and you're going to start having people answering questions for you, for your customers, you really want to look into hosted email. So you could do that through Outlook. You could do that through G Suite. I personally recommend G Suite just because you have so many options. Let me share my screen here. And we're just going to look at, like, you have so many apps with Google that your team is probably going to be utilizing anyway. And so it just makes sense to just kind of keep everything in one hub. So it's easy for everyone to get to your spreadsheets, your documents, your calendars. So you can do this through Outlook. I do recommend G Suite personally. And it just looks better to your customers to have, their name at your company rather than your company at gmail.com. People can tell it's free. And on top of that, you don't have, you're not going to have visibility into people's personal emails. So that's a big deal if you're hiring someone to answer support questions for you and they're dealing with sensitive information, with customers' billing information, credit card information, and they're at their own personal account. Then if you decide to cut that person off for whatever reason, or they decide that they need to move on, you have no access to that inbox. You can't access their emails. And then they can still continue to contact your customers with your branded email. So it can really cause some kind of HR nightmares. So it's really great to have a central hub where everything is located. Once you have, we're going to look into, I'm going to show you guys what the admin dashboard looks like. So we're taking a little field trip. This is my own personal for my art business, but you can just go to admin.google. And then from here, all of your employees under your domain will be listed in your user section. So you can update passwords from there. So if you and someone did sever ties, you can go through and change that information so that they can't access that anymore, but you can. You can update users with access to different apps. So there's different apps that you can pay for with Google Workspace, like Google Voice. So if you're going to be using phone calls to follow up with people, you have that option. It's just can't recommend them enough. Sorry, I have notes that I'm accessing here. Oh, and it also starts off really inexpensively. So that's another really important factor. Let's get to so you can start for as little as $6 per person per month. And then also if you're using a hosting site like Squarespace, it actually comes with your membership. If you choose the commerce option, it comes with basic G Suite. And so you might not even be having to pay extra per month for this feature. So if you're going to have any kind of like online sales or anything like that, really isn't a reason that you shouldn't have a branded email address that you can be answering support questions from.
And Savannah, there's some cool tricks you can do too. Like if you only want to pay for one user, you can create aliases. So
yes.
you can be Savannah at yourname.com, and then you can create an alias that's like support at yourname.com, but it still lives in the one user. So you can have multiple different like public facing email names that people could email and they'd all go to you. And then you can do the same with domains. You can plug in different domains and you're still paying $6 per user.
So really affordable.
Yeah, if it's still just you, but you have different brands, or you want people to think they're emailing support, but it's really just going to you. It's kind of a fun way to make it different.
And what's nice about that is that, like, for me, I need to create some aliases for mine because people have a really hard time spelling my name. So if you have a company that has maybe some complicated spelling, or your name has complicated spelling, you can put in aliases for like ways that you've seen people misspell your company or your personal name. And then it'll reroute it so it still comes to your inbox, even if someone spells that wrong. So like I have people leave the H off the end of my name, or I've had it spelled all kinds of crazy ways. But yeah, so you can enter those in as aliases, so you can make sure that if someone's trying to contact you, they are getting to you. So that's another really nice feature with having a G Suite versus just having a regular Gmail. So the next thing that I wanted to show you guys, if you're not ready to jump into a ticket-based system, because that does get a little bit more expensive, or maybe you just feel like you're just not ready to make that leap yet, you can kind of mimic a ticket type of system within your G Suite Gmail email address. And it's not as good, but if you're just wanting somewhere to start, then it's a great place to start. So, and you can do this. This isn't Google specific. This is like any hosted email. If you're using Outlook, you can do this too. So really you just want to utilize folders. So, you would do this if you're going to have, if you say you have a customer experience team of 3, and you want to make sure that everybody, well, even if you have of 1, but say you're having a multi-team as well, that they're going to be sharing one login. As you guys have probably experienced, this can get a little bit messy, just knowing like who answered what's been addressed, just having team visibility. So you can actually create folders where you want to categorize things. Oh, sad baby. So you can categorize things on the side. Also, just a little note here, you'll notice that I have my folders numbered, and this is because Google automatically sorts things alphabetically, which is kind of a pain if you want to look at things in a specific order. So if you just use numbering in front of your file name, it'll put it in the right order for you. So examples that I used was like urgent. If you so if you want to make sure that your CE team is starting with like your VIP list. So there's certain high ticket customers that you want to make sure that are getting first dibs on your time. So you can sort those into urgent, make sure that you guys are addressing those first before you look at the other ones. So like forwarded, if you have other departments within your business that you want to have look at, refund requests and that kind of thing. If your CE team is not able to handle that on their own, you can forward that to billing, and then they can keep that so that the whole team knows that that's been forwarded. Pending. So if your CE team thinks that it's been solved, pardon me, thinks that it's been solved, but they're just waiting for confirmation, can go in pending. And then of course, once it's been 100% taken care of, it can go into solved. And the reason that I recommend doing solved versus like having your team deleted or something is obviously you want to be able to keep an ongoing record to hold your team accountable. So what you can also utilize with this that mimics a ticketing based system is you can use filters and labels within your contacts. So if you want a certain group of people to be treated more special, say they are in a challenge, or say they've spent more than $10,000 with your company, you can actually import, so sorry, mom life. So you can import a group of customers at once. So if you can go to create contact, create multiple contacts, and you can actually upload a CSV. And so you can put in your customer's information that you want to be in this certain contact list, and then you can give them a label. So like I have like important buyers. And so then whenever they are sending you a message, you can set up a filter so that you're looking at your important buyers first. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions? I know I'm just kind of like.
I think it's pretty cool. And you can also use labels if you're using this setup, if you have multiple people in here. So like if Savannah wants to add her name to a label of a customer, people know if that customer replies, Savannah's working on it. So they don't necessarily need to reply unless Savannah's out, because they don't want to get in the middle of something Savannah spent 10 minutes researching already, because then they're going to spend 10 minutes researching. So you can add people labels too.
Absolutely. That's a great point. And then,
And then
yeah,
every time they reply, all their labels come up in the email. You'll see like, oh, this one was last labeled urgent and Savannah. So I see it, Savannah can respond when she comes in here next.
So yeah, it's not like the most smooth, but there are definitely ways that inexpensively, if you're starting out and you just want to get some kind of organization in place for your team, it's a good place to start. Google does make it, they have so many tools. They try and really like make sure that you have as much as you can have in their system to stay within their system. So with that, if you're wanting to look at metrics, so another benefit of like ticket-based systems is you're probably wondering about reporting. And so obviously in this kind of system, it's not set up to just automatically give you that, because it's not meant to be, it's not designed to be like the customer service hub that way. And so that is where like EOS scorecard comes in really handy. So you can track how things are escalating week by week as far as like solved tickets, refund requests, sales, that kind of thing. But Aaron did also bring up yesterday that Google has a fancy app that's called, what's it called, Taryn? Data
Studio.
Data Studio. And so you can, if you want something that's a little bit trickier, fancier with like graphs and things, you can look into setting something up with that. Someone had asked in the private Facebook group about utilizing something like that. And there are other programs where you can plug in your metrics like a scorecard and it'll turn it into a graph for you. But if you don't want to pay for an extra service, there's a way that you can do that in Google. Even Google Sheets, you can make graphs and stuff too. But okay. So if nobody has any questions about that, I'm going to start talking about ticket-based systems. We all good? Okay. So I'm going to take us to the next step in our field trip. We're going to look at Zendesk because that is the ticket system that I most frequently use. It's also pretty much any customer service that you're contacting, like from like my health insurance to my BoxyCharm makeup subscription. If you look in the bottom corner, it says that it's run by Zendesk. Like pretty much everybody uses Zendesk. It's kind of like the one that has it figured out. That being said, there are less expensive options. Zendesk can get expensive. There's, it's it's the modern age of the internet. So everyone is trying to kind of do the same things. And so if you just if you just Google, alternatives for Zendesk, there's lots of options where you can kind of price compare, feature compare. So let's get in there. So Jamie knows what this looks like, because this is for Pedro Adeo. So this is the main one that I service all the time. And so something that's nice about I think most ticket-based systems, but especially Zendesk, is they give your customers a landing page for support. So this is basically like the FAQ. And from here, which you can set up with your domain with a redirect and plug it everywhere, which we do. They can search for their issue just right in the search, and you can create a whole slew of FAQ articles, and you get this just with like your basic plan. Like as soon as you sign up, you get the basic help feature. Of course, if you up your plan to the fancy Cadillac plan, then you get more and more features, more articles, more categorization. But and what's nice about this as well is that you can differentiate FAQs for internal team and external team. So a customer typing something into a search bar is going to get slightly different results than an employee typing into a search bar if they're logged in. And so you can really create like a good central, kind of like Google Drive. So you can definitely do this with Google Drive as well, if you're still at square one. But it's just really nice to have everything in one place. So everyone's getting the same information, and they can even like link to it within support tickets as they're responding to customers. It's really nice. And then if they don't know specifically what they're looking for, they just kind of want to like browse what kind of questions you guys answer. The little lock next to it means that that's internal only, but your customers can browse what you have help articles created for, which is pretty darn cool. So what else is nice about a ticket-based system is it's easy to scale in your company. So you can kind of start at that square one, just having a support email address that people are logging into. And keep it really simple, but you can add more seats. So you can have individual employees all logging in and being accountable for their own tickets, but also they can view all the other tickets in the system. So it's easier to ask for support from each other. And then it's easy to scale with added features. So you can add lots of app integrations. You can pay for extra services like extra reporting, Zendesk chat, which is, I'm going to change my view here. So we're at the top. There we go. So you can see this little speech bubble in the corner. So this is something else that can be enabled through a ticket-based system where they can actually talk to a live agent if you have your customer experience team set up to do that kind of thing. So they can talk to someone, and then it works seamlessly with your ticket-based system, so that if someone in live chat, if it becomes a larger problem, if it needs to escalate to a manager, if it needs to escalate to a billing team, what have you, you can just seamlessly take it from a chat, put it right into a ticket. It's in the inbox. They have their whole transcript. It's quite sexy from a customer experience perspective. Let me just scroll down here a little bit. What's also really nice with a ticket-based system is the long-term record keeping. So rather than having to save into into like the solved folder in an email inbox, I'm probably showing you guys a different view right now. There we go. Instead of having to save things in email, worrying about your email storage capacity, because Google gives you a limit until you start upping your plan. So depending on how long you're using that system, you might run out of space and then have to download things and save it somewhere else. And who wants to deal with that? So like this is the view inside my account, but you can basically look at how do I look at my solved? You can look at all of the tickets from the dawn of time until currently. And so that's really nice. So if a customer comes in and you think you recognize their name, and like maybe like, this is going to sound rude, but there's certain customers that need a little bit more support than other customers. And so it's kind of nice to have in the back of your mind if they're I usually call them a problem child, but just if there's someone that comes in a lot, you know that you need to step a little bit gingerly with them. So like if you're like, I recognize that name, they've come in here 57 times. You can look it up and you can see all of their previous tickets just by typing in their name or typing in a subject. If you're like, oh yeah, they're in this program, you can look in that program and be like, oh yeah, like we have 2,000 people in that program, but this person has reached out to it. Anyway, so you just know that that's someone that you need to just like be a little bit softer with. It's nice to have that extra context. And then even a new employee coming in, they don't have that history. They don't know that that person's come in 57 times, but maybe you let them know, then they can catch up and get the full context of that. So it's nice to kind of have that endless source of context. And you can do the same thing for chats. It saves your chat history, so you can look that up as well. So it's pretty nice. We have, nope, nothing in the chats. Okay. What else is really nice about having a ticket-based system, specifically Zendesk, is you have automations, tags, and triggers. So I'm going to take us into this fancy thing called macros. So again, there's plugins for Google that you can do something similar through your Gmail, where you have kind of like hotkeys that put in automated text. It's not as easy to use as something like this. So macros within Zendesk is a library of automated responses. So if you're running a challenge, or if you sell like one main product and you get some frequently asked questions that you just know that you're going to get 25 times, you can plug in what you want your answer to be, that you want your customers to respond with, so that everyone has the same scripted, branded response. And then all they have to do is just choose that macro. It'll auto-populate it and you send it on. And then you don't have to worry about someone accidentally misspeaking, especially when it comes to links. If someone needs a specific link to to buy something, or if you want to redirect someone to your FAQ, you just have it built in there. It saves so much time. It's really great. So if you're running a challenge and you're getting a really high volume of questions coming in, macros and automated responses are great. Something else that's really handy with automations is triggers. And you can kind of get this with using filters in G Suite. But like, for example, for this one, I've uploaded a list of customers that have spent more than $5,000. And it recognizes an email from that list, and it'll automatically star them as a VIP customer. And so we know that we need to answer that person first. And then from there, you can set SLAs, which is basically like a goal for how quickly you answer their questions. And so it'll even give you like a little countdown timer on there that's like, this is a VIP person, like you want to answer them within the next 3 hours to make sure that they feel taken care of. It's really nice. So it keeps everyone really on their game, keeps everyone accountable, make sure that your customers are happy. So that's it's just things that you don't get in an email inbox the same way. What else is nice is that, as you guys may or may not know, I'm currently on maternity leave. And so I'm in this inbox, but I'm not really in this inbox. And so you can even set triggers and automations for your specific team members. So right now, if anyone assigns a ticket to me in here, it automatically gets assigned to our lovely Ben. So that way he can deal with it and then let me know if he needs extra help with it. And so that's super. If you know someone's going to be out for a while, and you can just kind of take care of that. And you can do that with folders. You can do that with assigning to another group, another team member. another thing that you don't get in an email inbox that, I mean, it's kind of like a vacation responder, but instead of just sitting in the inbox waiting, it'll go to someone else and you know that it's going to get answered. So that's really nice. That's really the Spark Notes of what I have for. Does anybody have any questions? I feel like I talked really fast and got through it really fast. So we have a lot of time to answer some questions or do more deep dive field trips.
Savannah, you are knocking my socks off right now.
Yay!
This is amazing. And I'm sure Kimberly will agree. I see some head nodding over there. I feel like this is really going to change the game for our customer support team. I'm really, really excited.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I pinged you a little bit, Savannah, on, we had one of our, I don't know what conversation it was in, but I was like, we were talking about the customer experience like setup we have. And I was like, well, Savannah over at Ops really recommends Zendesk. And so I was so excited to see Trudy here today because I feel like this could really be a game changer for us. We could free up some people to like do awesome stuff when they're not like bogged down in CS. And so I love this. I love the opportunity that it brings to our company.
Oh, me too. So Savannah, question number one, how easy is this to set up, or how complicated is this to set up? Because it looks amazing.
It is really easy. So of course, you know, starting with the basics and everything, because you'll add layers as you go of like automations and things. You'll start getting more comfortable using different features and different plugins. But to start out, just getting your account set up, adding your team members, very simple. I am gonna go over here to, oops, no, that's not how I want to do it. Let's look at people. There they are. So from here, you can actually view all your customers in the system, but you can also choose how you look at your employees. And so this is everyone that we have set up within our inbox. Everyone who has a seat is what they call it in there. And so to add somebody, it is so very simple. You just need to add user, add group, or add organization. I don't do a ton with groups. I mostly deal with groups if I'm going to be adding another view. So that's if someone wants to, like, for example, I'm just going to look at views. So these are different groups that I have set up. So it's just ways that you can categorize your customers. So we have like the VIP people, support is just like the general umbrella of everybody. But then Pedro Deo specifically, he has a few different companies like within his company. And so we've segregated things by that so that it's easy to jump in and be like, okay, we know that they're a buyer of this product. So we're going to go and look at everyone who's a buyer of that product. And they're different price points. So it makes sense for us to split things up that way. Not everyone, like if your products are all generally in the same vein, then you don't need to worry about getting crazy with views. But yeah, so to add a user, you can use this to add an end user or a staff member. And then you can choose if you want them to be an agent or an administrator. Contributors you won't use really often. That's if you just want to give someone a seat so that they can view your FAQs. And I think that they can comment on FAQs, but they can't answer any tickets or make any changes in the account. Sorry. You can also add people in with, so there's the bulk management. So you can, if you want to add in your whole team at once, you can add in your whole team at once, that kind of thing. The only tricky part, which I'm not going to take you into billing because I don't want to accidentally show any sensitive information, but when you're adding a user, if you don't have enough seats purchased for the month, it will prompt you to go to your account page basically to up your membership. So they do charge you per user.
Okay, that was my next question.
Yes, so they do charge you per user, and it can escalate a little fast depending on how many features you're wanting. So, like for example, what I'm showing you in here, they have support, they have the nicer reporting, which I can show you the reporting as well. They have chat, so that's an additional fee as well. So depending on how much you want to add, it can get up there, but like Taryn brought up with Gmail, how you can use tags and labels to say who answered what. You have tags within your Zendesk ticket. So same thing. For a while, Collab Team, there was like 3 of us that were all sharing one seat in here just to keep the bill low, because it does charge per each, and we weren't all in there every day. And so like it was, I would just put in Savannah as a tag. And so people would know that I'm accountable for that customer. So there's still ways that you can have your team share. When that gets kind of screwy is I believe you can't have more than one person signed in at once. And then if you do, grumpy, if you do decide to utilize chat, obviously you can't have multiple people signed in with one chat seat at once.
Right,
And so so really things can stay fairly affordable until you decide to make that jump into chat. Once you kind of make that step, that's when things start to really get up there. But man, chat is such a game changer. Like, it's so nice for your customers to be able to get questions answered in real time during business hours. You can put in that little chat bubble that I showed you guys on the landing page. So you can actually plug that in as a widget onto all of your sales pages with code. So if someone's on a cart checkout page and they're like, I think I want this, but I want to use 3 cards, I'm not sure if I can do that, this little chat bubble will just be hanging out on that page. They can reach out to support, and then support can just open up, Stripe or Infusionsoft, whatever your CRM is, and take 3 cards at once and, and close the sale. So if you're selling a lot of products, man, chat is fantastic.
Oh my God, I want to start implementing this right now. Yeah, Kimberly, exactly, right?
It's so good. And so let me see if I can just bring up, because like I said, I don't want to bring up their specific pricing, because I don't want to accidentally show anything personal. Let's see if I can.
I think I just say for the setup, they make it really simple to get started. All you do is you start forwarding your email. After you set up your account, you just start forwarding the emails from that account to them. Once you do that, you can start responding to tickets instantly. And then there's further steps you can take, as in, now that you've got tickets in there, now you can create the macros, you can create the shortcuts, you can add more users. But if all you want to do is just start getting tickets in, set your email to forward to what they give to you, and then done, you can respond.
And here's the other thing is that, so you have your Gmail inboxes and everything that you've been using. You can plug in as many emails as you want to come to your Zendesk inbox. So that's another part of it. So like if you have, your main business owner guy, he's getting a silly amount of emails because people, in the beginning are used to emailing him for everything before he had a customer service team, but he wants to start moving that to the customer service team. He doesn't have time to do that. Rather than having to give his team his logins and having someone check his email inbox weekly, unless he wants that with an executive assistant. But if he wants to pass that on, you can just plug that in to your ticketing system, and those emails will start being filtered in there. So you can have a customer support one. If you decide that you want to have your billing team within Zendesk, which I do recommend so everyone has visibility of everything, you can plug that in there. And then you just make sure through triggers and automations that you can set things to be automatically assigned to certain team members. So if someone's sending something in at, we don't have one in here, but say that it was billing@yourcompany.com. You can set it up so that whenever someone emails that email, you have your billing team member in there and it's automatically assigned to that team member. And then if they need extra help with something, then it's like, hey man, you know how to do refunds. I just got this thing in billing, but I really need you to go through my inbox and look. You can have another team member have visibility into that from their dashboard and start answering questions for you. So game changer.
This is just awesome. I'm at a loss for words right now. Where's this been all my life? So in terms of integration, Savannah, do you guys have any special integrations set up? Because we have Monday, we have Stripe and a few other things, but we also have this app, which is not really an app, but we call it an app, that all of our mastermind customers have access to. And this is where our mastermind course lives. So I don't know if it allows for like special integrations where it's not things like a Slack or like a Stripe. I don't know if it relies on or is able to accommodate like more custom integrations.
Taryn is a great source of information on that side, because he's usually depending on what we want, I'll be like, Taryn, help, I want things to talk to it this way. But I do know that like for us, like we use PagerDuty uses Infusionsoft, and it doesn't have a direct plugin for that. So you do have to kind of sometimes find some workarounds with like Zapier.
Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah,
Taryn, I think I heard they're the Zapier like king over there. I don't know.
I've done a few zaps. It's not going to integrate to be able to pull information from your custom app, but you could have that chat widget anywhere. So you could plug that in anywhere, but it's not going to be able to read information from the app. It'll integrate into some CRMs and pull information about that customer into it for you. And they're always building more plugins. So maybe one day they'll have an Infusionsoft plugin, but we just have the CE team. They keep both windows open. It's like a customer comes in, first thing you do is you look them up in Infusionsoft and you find information about them. And then you know how best to answer them.
Do you know if they integrate with ActiveCampaign by any chance?
ActiveCampaign might be one.
Okay.
Yeah, we can check out
what we use.
Disk plugins.
Yeah, there's to remember how to get there, but they have like a whole menu of different like apps and things that you can plug in.
Oh, okay, perfect. Oh yeah, I don't want to waste your time with that. I can take a look at that myself.
Yeah, it says ActiveCampaign on here.
So yeah, it has things from like other companies that you might be utilizing all the way to different things within Zendesk that just can just help streamline certain features. Like I have one that's called VIP. And so that'll basically highlight the customer in green if they've spent over a certain amount. I just upload that. I download the list from our CRM, upload it into the ticket-based system, and then it will recognize that tag and it'll highlight them in green. So that's pretty cool.
Amazing. Oh my God,
and then
so
there's another one where you can have like the most recent 5 tickets that you've answered from that customer. You can have that kind of just hanging out on the side.
Okay. And in terms of like reporting, what type of metrics have you guys found most useful?
So it's kind of I guess it's different for each company, but the most important one is usually going to be what your customer satisfaction is. And then so let me go to
or probably the reply time too.
Yes, yeah,
reply time.
So they have this thing called Explore, and that's just what they call their reporting. And so the main ones that PagerDuty's team uses is support and chat.
Okay.
And so from there you can look at, so 1 touch tickets means that the problem was solved in 1 ticket. And then they didn't need to reach back out for anything. So that's a nice metric to track because you know how knowledgeable your team is about subjects. So if that number gets really low, then it's like, okay, obviously the team needs more training. So PagerDuty's team, they run pretty high on customer satisfaction. So I am not at all ashamed to show you guys what this dashboard looks like. But you can even see what most of the tickets come from. So so chat, 10% are tickets that have been converted from chat. So it's nice that that's pretty low. If that was really high, then again, that would tell you that your team probably doesn't know how to answer a lot of questions in real time. So they're having to convert it to a ticket. API, I believe, means our bot. We have a customer support bot that tries to answer easy questions as well as possible. That's that's a whole other, that's a many ops experts meetings down the line, but web, that would be like from our landing page. And then email is if someone just has our direct email addresses that we have linked to the account, then it comes into the inbox. So, and you can even look at things by group. You can look at things by user. So they let you get pretty granular. You can decide exactly what date. So if you have a challenge run from a date to a date, you can look at specifically how your customer service team did during that week. So pretty darn cool. SLAs is their like the goals that you set for your team to meet.
Okay. Wow, Savannah, this is incredible. It feels like Christmas Day right now.
Well, that makes me happy. That's awesome.
Steven is gonna love this. He's absolutely gonna love this.
It's gonna be an easy sale too, because it's gonna save so many of your hours and his hours, like setting up the systems. Like it's gonna, like, whatever Zendesk costs, like there's no way I just feel like it's gonna save us money over time.
I agree.
And it doesn't always have to be Zendesk. She's showing you this example. It's what we've used a few times. It's what we're currently using, but there's alternatives. There's one called Fresh Desk, Zoho Desk. And just like we talked about with CRMs, there's so many apps that are now competing with each other that you might find better prices, or you might find ones that plug into the systems you're using better. So really, we're not pushing just Zendesk. It's always about what's going to work best with what you already have in hand. Or maybe the pricing, maybe per user is too expensive. You want to find more competitive pricing. And they're all going to do about the similar things because they're all competing with each other. So yeah, if you want research done too before you decide on something, you want to say, hey, we actually need it to do these 3 things specifically, and we need it to connect to these apps. Then you can start doing some research. We could do research for you. So yeah, it's never about just this one program, but it is fun to see what Savannah's been able to put together using Zendesk for that team.
So Tara, you mentioned Fresh Desk. I think you said Odesk. Was that another one?
Zoho Desk.
Zoho Desk. Okay.
Yeah, those are 2 I can think of off the top of my mind that I've heard about.
Okay. Wow, this is great. Thank you so much, guys. It's been incredibly useful.
So you can see some of the pricing here. We've got this is in Zendesk, $49 per agent per month, and for the suite team. So things can get pretty expensive, but that's for everything. That'll give you the email tickets, the live chat, also Zendesk Guide, right, Savannah?
Yeah, so you actually get basic Zendesk Guide even when you're on like the super basic plan. So if you wanted to have that, you do have an option for Zendesk Guide even at the base level. The only thing is that where the setup that I just showed you is split up by like different businesses and different products, and so it's a little bit more broken down. It makes it maybe easier for your customer to find what they're looking for without having to type in the search. You don't get those options. You just get like basically one FAQ menu that they're accessing. But again, as like a starting point, it's still great. And that does come with, it's free with your basic subscription.
Okay.
So Savannah, if you want to look at what would be the cost if you just want to get started with one user, Zendesk tickets.
So yeah, so you're looking at $50 per month if you're doing monthly, and that is billed annually. So I think it's a little bit more than that if you do decide to go monthly, because of course, that's how they get you. Here we go. So yeah, so team. up to 3 paid users. I'm pretty sure you get to use help desk and everything with that as well. So that's 19 per month.
Okay.
And you can have up to a team of 3.
So what's the difference, sorry, Savannah, between this one, the cell team, and then the other one we were looking at $49 a month?
So you'll want to talk to one of their customer experience team to like kind of go into the nitty gritty of what's all included. But we are, the ones I just showed you is on the professional. And so I feel like unlimited paid users is a little bit misleading because I know that we still pay per user.
Yeah, I think they're saying you can only have up to 3 on the first plan, but once you get over 3, you have to buy the next plan.
Which is new. They didn't used to do that.
Yeah.
But
So I think, Savannah, if you scroll up to foundational support only, I think this sales is new. I think this one will give you just tickets.
Okay.
Yeah, so this will give you your tickets only, 1 user, $19.
And because Zendesk is kind of like the name brand, I do think it's probably one of the most expensive out of your options. And so I would encourage you, like Taryn said, like they're all competing with each other and trying to do basically the same thing. So definitely look into what your other options are, because it is a little bit of a pain in the butt to change later down the line, kind of like how we were talking about last week with CRMs. You have to do a mass export and then a mass import. And with customers, that's not so hard. But if you want to take your ticket and your chat history with you, that is a little bit more difficult. And you probably will end up having to pay for like a third party system to help you get things migrated. So just things to keep in mind, that it's good to do your research to start out with. Make sure that you like the system that you're choosing. Almost all of them do a free trial, so you can kind of play around and make sure that you like how it feels in there. Obviously Zendesk is great, but it does get expensive quickly. So that's the downside of that.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for that, guys. Sorry, I monopolized the meeting here with my 1,000,001 questions.
Questions are good. It took us on different field trips that I wouldn't have otherwise taken us on.